Ryan, first of all, thanks for being here, bro. Thanks for taking time out of your day to meet up with the squad. We are pumped. Ryan did 10 shows in a year. Bro, talk about that. What's that about?
One thing about it, man, I love to fucking compete. I'm a pro. I don't do all of this shit just to get on stage twice a year. I like to get on stage and put it in the middle and compete. Because as bodybuilders, we only think about it from a bodybuilding perspective. To somebody else, they might see us and say, man, you have one of the best bodies I've ever seen, even when you're in off season. But it's still hard to wire your mind to that, because do you wire yourself to start to think that way so that it breeds complacency when you are competing again because you feel like it's okay to look good by their standard? Or do you continue to keep the mindset of being hard on yourself because you know that it takes an extreme physique to be one of the best, and you could look your absolute fucking best and it still not be the best on that day? Because there's just somebody out there. Somebody got to be the fucking top dog, no matter what. Somebody gotta be the big swinging dick in the room, and it's just maybe not you that day. Some days it will, some days it won't. But I'm having a rough time though. I'm having a really hard time, and I'll admit that, because sometimes people kind of like to put things on the internet, but they'll remove the personal aspect from it. I'm having a really difficult time, for sure. A lot of people, the people who love us, the ones around us, and even just some competitors who may not understand why they're going through the emotions they're going through after a show, body dysmorphia automatically sets in. The guilt of eating sets in, because when your mind is so wired to being in prep, the food is good and you can't stop eating it, but then you also feel like a fucking fat, nasty fucking slob for eating the food. And then you're waking up and you're looking in the mirror and you're like, wait a minute, I'm turning from the Hulk back into this regular fucking person. When I'm walking through the gym, the compliments aren't the same anymore. It's not the bro, what the fuck, you look crazy. And this is really one of the hardest parts of bodybuilding. It's something that I'm going through myself, you know? I feel guilty for eating food that isn't like prep food. It's exciting, man. The Asians are bringing it. And I don't say that like I'm not saying that in any type of like, with any like undertone. I'm just referring to it as a whole, because I don't think nobody take it and try to run with it like, oh, you got something against the Asian community. No, it's not. The Asians are bringing it. They have some of the like, genetically, they have just some crazy genetics of the way that they're built, man. It's just like, yeah, honestly, if we're being real, like, you're like the true like 60 minutes of what like covering bodybuilding is. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a long tangent.
That was great.
No, that's real.
Yeah, no, that was good.
Ryan, first of all, thanks for being here, bro. Thanks for taking time out of your day to meet up with the squad. We are pumped to have you here. And honestly, I'm tired of talking about your physique and seeing photos and not officially meeting you, brother. How long I've been talking about you and I've never met you.
Man,
so
you've been covering me since I came into the pro league, man. You were one of the first, the first outlet to ever kind of just acknowledge that I was somebody to pay attention to, man. So I'm also honored to be here, not just with you, but amongst the other guys who, you know, you guys' coverage has been really killing it, keeping that unbiased authenticity to covering men's physique, and that's appreciated.
Well, we appreciate you, brother. Before we get into this, I want to introduce you to the squad. In the far left over there, right now in Bali, but from Australia, we have the Aussie voice of men's physique. Philip Naselli is in the building. What's up, Philip?
What's happening, mate? Ryan, lovely to have you here, man. Looking forward to diving into everything men's physique. Work the works, man. So looking forward to having a chat to you, man.
Same, man. Bali is nice right now. I know that.
And it's what time is it here? It's 7:50 in the morning, man. It's like 35 degrees. I mean, you're in Vegas. What am I talking about the heat? You're in the heat all the time.
Nah, it's cold and rainy today,
Oh,
man.
you're kidding.
Yeah, nah, Vegas gets cold.
There you go.
Nice to meet you.
Ryan, another one of our hosts on the channel. You may know this man, men's physique pro. Aleem Bolton's in the building. Aleem, what's going on?
Happy to be
Going
here,
on,
man. You're
man.
right. First of all, love the Scully, my guy. I was rocking the orange one yesterday. Love the Scully. That's
Yeah,
how we
man.
rock.
I
And,
like
and it's slanted.
yeah.
It's got the slope. I'm ready to snowboard off of that bad boy. It's slanted. I love it.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
go.
And finally, last but not least, we got a guy coming out of the United Kingdom, but he says he's Romanian. Men's physique pro Mateus Giuliano is in the building. What's going on, Mateus?
Hey, I'm just pleased to be here. Thank you, Hart. And I want to hear this about this man's journey, right? 10 shows. First time I read that, I was like, how the hell do you do 10 shows in one season, man?
Turn
And
up
end
your
up
mic,
looking better,
Mateus.
better, and better, right?
Turn up that mic a little bit.
Did you guys not hear me?
Can't, it's just soft.
Just soft. I don't like being soft, bro. Nobody call me soft.
Wife doesn't like
That's
that.
Not better.
But you're right, Mateus. You're the one who found that information out. None of us did. You're the one that pointed out that Ryan did 10 shows in a year. Bro, talk about that. What's that about?
So at first I didn't even really realize it. What happened was last year, when we went Hawaii for the first time, I kind of had a game plan last year. Last year my plan was to win a couple shows, create a great resume, and apply for the Arnold. That was what was on my board. Yes, I wanted to do great at the Olympia, but just didn't feel like I'm just not my time. I'm not just quite there just yet. So it was always the plan. So we got selected for the Arnold, and then just kept rolling. So we did the Arnold, and then did St. Louis, LA, which I won. But then, of course, I went and did Pittsburgh just because it's Pittsburgh. Just a good look to go do a show like that. A lot of the time, what happens is that I'll have only maybe like 5 shows on my board, but I'm a really big believer in doing a warm up show for the show I actually want to win. I would like to win the show that I'm going to do as a warm up as well, but it's a strategy that has actually kind of always garnered me the win in the show that I actually chose, except for like one occasion. So, yeah.
Tell me more about that, brother. So, like, you would do a warm-up show before the show that you actually want to win. Is that because you kind of get to see where your body's at that point in time, how it's looking when you're stage ready, measuring the peak a little bit, and then you get better data to be able to apply that to the next show? Or what's the strategy behind it? Because a lot of guys will actually be afraid and being like,
Yeah, it's just more so collecting data. I'm usually better that second week. The only exception I have this year is that, because one thing about it is that I'm never afraid to admit when I missed the mark. I looked like dog shit at the Olympia. Looked really good, looked phenomenal that morning. Even looked phenomenal backstage. There's a picture of me on the Olympia page, backstage, like pumped up. Looked great. But my conditioning just didn't hold until once I got on stage, we unfortunately were standing in line for an hour and a half. But I can't use that as an excuse because there's plenty of other guys who still got on stage and looked absolutely sensational. Granted, my last name starts with a C. Some guys' names start it's a very interesting process backstage at the Olympia as far as pump up. I'll say that much for those who aren't who they deem,
Yeah.
So
top
but
guys, right?
but regardless, if an hour in line is the difference between me looking good and great, then I wasn't on point. And that's just the reality of it. And I'm not one of those who's gonna bypass taking accountability. But one thing about it, man, I love to fucking compete. I'm a pro I don't do all of this shit just to get on stage twice a year. I like to get on stage and put it in the middle and compete. I like to travel and be a pro bodybuilder like any other professional athlete. Because the thing about it is that sometimes people they get online and want to fucking cry about people not acknowledging bodybuilding as a true sport as professional athletes. But what other sport do you know that athletes just go out there for 1 or 2 games out of the year? It doesn't happen. You have a season where you go, you have wins and losses, and at the end of the day, it's the end result that matters the most. So that's just how I view it. It may not, I had some unfavorable placings this year, which were some of my lowest placings that I've had in probably the past 3 years, but it's a learning experience. You know,
What
I went to that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
why do you think that some of those placings transpired? Do you think that the competition is getting better now? Or do you think that you just missed the mark, maybe, didn't carb up enough or holding some water? What do you think is the reason why your placings weren't as favorable as they used to be, or they were a
Because
couple of years ago?
because honestly, there's no consistent metric across the board when it comes to judging bodybuilding, and that's why.
Mhm.
And I'm not one of those, because one thing about it, I try to be political. I'll shut my fucking mouth and just kind of go about, whatever. It is what it is. I might have my internal feelings, but I don't say anything. But the reality is that if you went back to those shows where I did have unfavorable placings and you looked, you would say how. Um, Feedback is always going to be what is a reason to justify putting you somewhere. And sometimes feedback is completely just like, are you serious? This is this is the reason why you place you. This is the reason why you placed me here.
Guys, I
By
want to
your
lean on it. I want to lean in on that. And I'm sorry to monopolize this time, fellas, but
Good one. This is a
what
great one.
was the number one show that you had that really resonates? Because I can hear you're a little tight behind, a particular placing. It almost sounds like. What was really the placing that you
Speaking from
received that
experience,
really
yeah.
stands out to you?
um,
And who beat you?
I'll be honest in the sense of that, because once I get specific, then you can specifically see who judged it. I'm just going to refrain from being specific about it. Just being honest. Uh, Please come back later. Sorry about that. Thank you. Um, but let's see. It was multiple shows. So matter of fact, I'll take one. And I'll say this one only because it segues into something else about my physique. Uh, Denver, when I went to go defend my title. And obviously I have the scar across my left lat that has been there since birth. And this seems to be something that always kind of is my Achilles heel, so to speak. But in the same breath, taking somebody who is far less conditioned than me and placing them above me, whether my left lat came out when I turned around from the back or not, to me that just doesn't justify um, a person placing ahead of me. You know, to the point where sometimes it makes me be like, matter of fact, let me tell you the one that pissed me off the most. Actually, oh fuck it, it is what it is.
Let's go.
The show in New Jersey pissed me the fuck off, to the point for where when I got off stage, I actually even sent my coach Neil a message that said, "Fuck it, I'm not doing Hawaii. I'm done with this shit. I'm done bodybuilding." Because I think I came in what 12th or 13th place. No disrespect to any of the other guys, and it made me say, "Am I not in shape?" And then I went back and I seen the pictures, and I'm like, I seen the video, and huh? You got to be. For one, I have not been not, and this is a fact. I have not missed a first call out, with the exception of a Olympia, with the exception of Pittsburgh. I have not missed a first call out in over 3 years. And I just was confused on what they're looking for because I'm looking at what's placing in front of me and it just doesn't make sense. I don't know. There's this fixation that happens with judging and it's just as unbiased as it's supposed to be. And I understand that they say, well, it's an odd number of judges. Every judge has a score. This score gets dropped off. Let's be fucking real. You have the head judge, you have the person to the left and right. They are colluding the whole entire time while you're judging. They're asking for each other's opinions. It is not completely unbiased as everybody singularly judging exactly. That's why at the Olympia, it's why you have stanchions between the judges at the Olympia. It's the only place that it happens at when they're judging. They keep things unbiased. And that's at the night show. Granted, at prejudging, there is a little bit of talk, but still, these are the top of the top of the top of the top. So, and there's a lot more judges there. But it's just I watched the promoter sit behind a head judge and talk to him about judging the whole entire time that we were on stage. Why should that be happening?
It's tough, right? The same thing happened to Mauro going into Prague. You go from 13th in the world to just like one of the last placings, and he probably just was feeling exactly the same, coming off stage thinking, well, what did I do wrong? And that's the worst question to have. Because you look great, right? And he looked fucking sick.
Let me ask this question. Let me ask you this real question. With people who you've seen ascend to the top of the division, right? Right? All of a sudden, it seems like they just skyrocketed out of nowhere, right? If you went back and actually looked, those guys didn't really make a shitload of improvements. They were always as good as they already were. It was just somebody finally said, hey, we're going to actually decide to start giving you the opportunity to be the winner.
There's got to be some truth in that, bro. I can totally, after covering the sport for as long as I have and seeing this stuff, there's some of this has to be going on. It's so interesting. It's so interesting, bro.
And I'm not saying like it's some big conspiracy theory or anything like that, because sometime it may just take the one time that you got noticed and you got put next to the right person, and then everybody says, "Oh shit, this guy's actually really good." But there isn't. Yes, people improve year after year, but in a lot of these instances, that person already was him. It's just they finally said, "Okay, we'll let everybody know that we think that you're him as well."
Some guys had even better looks when they were placing worse. I've seen that as well.
One of my best looks, one of the elevator video that I have that people just love and rave about, was one of my worst placings. One of my worst placings ever. And it's like, but that's just, I guess that's just a sport. It's just subjective. You can wake up and think that you look phenomenal, but you have to get on stage next to other people. But the only problem is that sometimes, ma'am, I'm in the middle of something. Please, can you please come back later? I'm in the middle of something, ma'am. Can you please come back later? Thank you. Sorry. I apologize.
No worries, man.
You're good.
We've had to deal with that before too.
You won't be getting a
So,
taste.
but the problem is that, but when the pictures come out, and you're actually looking, then what?
It's tough, bro. Yeah, because I've been wondering the same thing. Is it like, well, you can only control what you can control, but you can control who shows up. But it's not that big of a factor that if, let's say, 5 guys are on the shorter side, like let's say even as much as Aaron Banks not winning the Legion kind of changed the game there, because tall guy was taken out of the equation from that show leading into the Olympiad. The result changed straight away. So you could argue that the narrative is very important as to what happens throughout the year. Kind of like you got 64, was it 64 at the Olympiad this year, 2025? And then you kind of like, I can only think as a judge, put myself in someone else's position. I know already some of the names that I'm like straight away looking for to see how these guys are looking, because there's been a lot of noise being made about these guys' names throughout the year. So I'm like, how does this guy look? How does this guy look? And you kind of bring them all together and you're trying to find the physiques that kind of match. It's kind of like why Mauro was just so out of place, because he was so full and bubbly in Prague, like just insane. But he didn't really match that. But that's not a bad physique. Like, you have 13th in the world. And that's the part where I'm like, well, how do you make sense of that? You know, because you got 13th in the world, then competes 2 weeks later, where shouldn't you actually go by the Olympia placing then? If that's where you aspire to be. So the Prague show is a step before that, leading into that, but then you come from, you know, from the bigger show.
I'm impartial about that. So I don't feel like automatically, like if you did well at the Olympia, that it should be a factor in a show, another show that you do, because then that's being completely unfair. Because what if everybody else just shows up better than you and they're like, oh, well, no, but since you're, you know, this, then you're going to place here. Granted, don't get me wrong. We see it happen. We do actually still see it happen. You know what I mean? Where people are definitely giving that nod when it's like, you weren't really the best guy on that day, but okay. But in those instances of the people I'm referring to, those guys are so amazing that even sometime when they're just a slither off, it's still arguably, you know, one of the best physiques in the world. I say this. I feel like momentum going into the Olympia should be a factor. You're like, if your trajectory, if you're boom, 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 you're hitting and you're beating top guys, then getting to the Olympia, as long as you bring the same package, how can you place a guy that I've just got, like, that I've been beating in front of me? You know what I mean? But you have to also bring the same package. You can't be off. Like for me this year, my placing is just like, again, I take accountability. I looked at my pictures and I wasted $500 on buying a picture package. That was like, I don't even want to look at them. I opened them up and I deleted those off of my fucking computer. Like, they're sitting in my Dropbox. I have no reason to look at them. I have no reason to post them. I don't want to post a video about it, anything. And I've never felt that way about any physique, any package that I've ever put on stage. I've always been able to pull and say, hey, the show I did the week before the Olympia, I looked great. I got sixth. And that wasn't, I don't know. I was told that I had weak obliques, that my obliques, I need to work on my obliques. When
you need to work on your obliques?
Your obliques are fire.
My obliques are literally one of the strongest
parts
of my physique.
What?
Parts of my
you have to work on your obliques? I don't think so.
That's what I mean by sometime when you get feedback, it's just kind of like, what? I was one of the most conditioned people on that stage.
It kind of makes you think how accurate this feedback is, though, right? Like, I feel like sometimes judges just need to give feedback for the sake of giving feedback. Like, obviously, there's some judges that give really good feedback.
It's always, some judges give great feedback where you can say, you know what, I see what you see. I see what you see. Okay, great. But then sometimes it's just a justification for just being able to say, well, this is the reason why. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't. I'm not saying the feedback doesn't matter. It matters. But as somebody who I'm always, of course, trying to strive to be at the Olympia. If it's not Tyler or Steve or really kind of an Olympia head judge, how much weight does it really hold? Somebody can tell you all the things in the world, but then you could go to a Tyler, Steve, the guys who are really making the decisions and like as far as judging concerned, and they say, well, no, that's not, you went and fixed something that wasn't a problem and created another problem. You know?
Speaking of feedback, I was going to say, speaking of feedback, I mean, obviously you work with Yoda and he would be giving you so much feedback show after show after show. What's he saying at the moment?
We have similar views on a lot of things. I don't like to quote Neil because just Neil's a person who kind of just speaks for himself, you know? I'm different than kind of a lot of people when it comes to certain things because I just never want to misquote, especially when I'm speaking on someone as amazing as Neil is. We've had our times where, you know, where we kind of felt we maybe missed the mark, and we've had our times where we were in complete agreement of like, what were they, what could they have been looking at? You know what I mean? And it's the reason why we've grown to start not saying anything between prejudging and finals, even when we are like in the running, just because we've been in situations where it looks like a clear win. I'm placed where it's a clear win, and then all of a sudden we come back and it's just, and that's not the end result. So yeah. Most of the time we're on the same page, and you know, Neil's straight up. So Neil's not going to just say, "Oh, we looked better," just because he's the person coaching me. You know, if something was off, then it was off, and then sometime Neil is he is the first person to say, "Hey, mate, we can do everything that we're supposed to do." And then just when the list comes out, it's just people who show up who you just can't surmount that day, you know? So he's very honest. Like he never blows smoke up my ass. And that's what I love about him as a coach. He's never pacifying me. It's never like he's never coming to stroke my ego. Most times he's gonna keep it in check. That's why even when it comes to doing check-ins, if I just hit the check-in this morning and you guys ask me, hey, so how do you think you look? If Neil hasn't told me I look good, then I don't know. I don't even determine if I look good until I get his word. Because I had one time where, I thought I was blazing. I thought I was on fire. I'm a couple weeks out from the show. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait to send this check-in. And he was just like, yeah, we're gonna have to work really hard. Like we got a lot of work to do. And I was like,
we've all been there, I reckon.
No, that's not even the worst. One time we were training together. I may be like 3 weeks out. And I usually don't have anybody with us when we train. One of my boys, like my barber, I said, hey, can you tag along and train with us? Right. So it was cool. So the training was great. And the training is good. Okay, let's go to the posing room. And I'm like, telling my boy, like, I'm excited. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna be like, that's the first time a grown man ever made me cry in my life. He laid into like the way he laid into me. I went home and I boo cried. Like not even being funny because it was just like, but it was also what I needed to hear. I was getting in my mind that my body was in a place that it wasn't. I was letting Instagram comments tell me that, oh man, you're on point. And somebody who has multiple Olympia titles, Arnold championships under his belt, as in plenty of pro wins under his belt as a coach, he knows what winning looks like. And he put me in my place, you know? And I needed that. And from that day forward, I never created my own opinion about what I think I look like.
Whoa.
Even when I post an update online, it's after I've gotten my feedback from Neil.
You're waiting.
I'm waiting. It's not till I get my feedback from him. Because honestly, in a sense, it's also a respect for his coaching, because if I send a check-in and he's like, we're not where we need to be, but then I'm posting the picture online as if like yeah, like we're blazing and everything is great, it's kind of like he'll see it and kind of be like, but that's not the reality. You know what I'm saying? I didn't tell you that you look great. You know what I'm saying? We still got work to do. Why are you're sitting here online wanting people to stroke your ego instead of fucking working? So that's also a reason why, like, no.
I love
unless
that.
Unless the Yoda says I'm good, then I'm not good.
I love that. I love the respect and the bond that you guys have between each other, man. Like I've spoken to a lot of other athletes who work under Yoda, and no one has ever said a bad word about him. Like the amount of detail, attention to detail, the care that he has for you guys is second to none, man. So yeah, I love the respect that you guys have towards each other, man. It's really, really good to hear.
You just got a new teammate, right, Ryan? Can
Yes,
we announce
did.
it?
Yeah.
Corey?
Yeah, I mean, of course I knew before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, we knew kind of too, but we'll leave that alone. Hey,
Well, you know,
Corey,
Corey actually was there helping me prep when I turned pro. You got to remember, I come from Atlanta. Me and Corey have a very long-standing friendship. We have been friends for quite some time. You know what I mean? We both turned pro overall at the same show, Junior USA's. Not the same year, obviously, but in different years. But I'm definitely happy to have him. I think Corey's an amazing athlete, and I'm excited to see with the meticulousness that Neil brings. Um, I just really feel like he has the opportunity to ascend from kind of the middle of the road, placing in that top 10 crust of the Olympia, which being there in itself is freaking amazing. But I just I know what the Yoda effect is on his athletes, and he brings the best out of us. So yeah,
there's a reason he's the best in the game.
Yeah, he demands a certain level of excellence from us, and he doesn't have a lot of men's physique athletes, so we do get really good attention and care. We're not going to shows and having a multitude of our teammates on the same lineup. You know what I mean? So it's just not that he would ever give any less energy if we were, but it's just even just mentally, when you're in prep, your mind will fuck with you. It's just never, I don't have to worry about thinking like, oh, did this person get more attention than me? You know what I mean? Now, granted, if I'm on a show with Brandon, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the attention or not the attention. I'm not about to, not at this level of my career. I'm not about to be him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I think he's just one of the, if not one of the best ever. I don't really see too many more who's touched him. And that's even with Ryan Terry having 3 Olympia titles. I just still feel Brandon is one of the best men's physique athletes that ever touched the stage.
Hey, one of the things I wanted to actually lean on and find out, we heard that there were some rumors rumbling about you and Brandon before, and it's great to see most recent photos, you guys in the gym together and stuff with Yoda. It looks like whatever that was got straightened out, man.
I'll touch on. Yeah, I'll touch on things. I'll touch on it. I won't go into like very specific detail, but I'll touch on it. One thing about me, man, is that once I consider somebody a brother, you're a brother. Brothers fight, brothers disagree, people go through things. I don't have to. The internet loves to want people to keep a narrative the same because they just love drama. And even when we weren't on the greatest terms, I was still in the comments defending him as being the men's physique athlete he is and where I think he'll place and everything like that, because I know that I still wanted friendship out the situation, but we both as men, had our private conversation about it. It wasn't even nothing that was at length or anything. It was just like a kind of I love you, bro, no matter what. Like, what I'm saying? I'm still always rooting for you. If you still want friendship there, then, like I'm all for it. And then just let things organically just repair itself, And so, yeah, no, we're good.
We saw that. It's great to see.
Yeah, man. We're good. Like I'm just not that. You're not my and don't need to take this out of context. If I'm not mad to the point that it makes me like want to kill you, then you're not my enemy. You're not my op. You know what I mean? We've just had a disagreement. That's what a real enemy is to me, where it's like, and under any circumstance, like I could just never in my life ever be around you ever again. Shit happens, man. Like it happens.
Yeah.
It happens. And he's had my back way more than he's never not had my back. So I'm just not going to hold that against it or whatever. Sometimes we try to determine how somebody has to act to what they feel is disrespect, and doesn't make it right or wrong. But I can't tell you how to react if you feel disrespected. It might even be a misunderstanding. You might have jumped the gun about what you feel disrespected about. But as a man, I cannot tell you the metric or how far you should take it when you feel disrespected. So when it started to become a public thing, and I kind of put my public things out there as well, it was only just to combat the lopsidedness in following. Because with 1 million followers, if I let a narrative run too far past, then I'll never get my side of the story, never get a chance for my side of the story to kind of be there. But, I appreciate that Neil stayed unbiased in the situation. She didn't pick a side. He just said, hey, if you guys aren't going to be friends, then fine. If you are, then, repair it. He both told both of us, hey, I don't think that either one of, it's just, he stayed biased in the situation. I can say that. So that was a good thing. That it wasn't like a dad picking favorites,
Mm-hmm. That's dope.
Ryan, I got a question for you. Going back to the Olympia, do you think Brandon should have beat Ali?
Yes.
Why?
For one, let me say this. Ali looks phenomenal athlete, crazy. Like just he has a in a sense of overall, he has a very great aesthetic. You weren't beating Brandon from the front. That's a hard task for anybody to do, period. Regardless, I understand he has the really strong obliques, but he poses well from the front because there is a lot of thickness that's there, as far as waist wise. Like aesthetically, just Brandon from the front is he's just super solid. And although Brandon's back is the thing that needs improvement, it still was better than Ali's back. When you get to that, it's definitely splitting hairs, but I just would have gave the nod to Brandon over Ali, and just in my opinion. And that's not even me being biased. That's me like really taking the time to look at the pictures. I just think Brandon was better than Ali on that day, in my opinion.
How do you describe better in this context, though?
I have to say in the sense of overall, because at that level, everybody's conditioning is out of this world. You know what I mean? If you're in a top 3 conversation at the Olympia, you're in shape. There's no way that there's no way that somebody can say, oh no, but there's no fucking way that you're in the top 3 conversation and you don't have some of the best conditioning on stage. So sometimes when people be like, oh, well, the conditioning, then he would be in fucking 10th place if that's the case. Because
That's a good point.
Y'all really lucky that they didn't give that boy the nod from fucking China, because he could have, man.
Facts.
He didn't deserve the place he was in. Yeah. And it needs to be the opposite direction, not down.
You saw it.
One of the best people on that stage at the Olympia.
He competes this weekend. Yeah. He's competing at the Japan Pro this weekend.
I know. But that's the pressure, though. That's the pressure. The only thing about it, though, heavy is the hair that wears the crown. You can't play 6 at the Olympia and then not go win really every stage you touch unless you're on the competition with the other Olympians who placed in front of you. Mm. We just saw Edvon lose, number 4 in the world.
Crazy.
Yep.
Number 4 in the world. We just saw him lose. And it doesn't take away from Edvon because the dude is sensational. But let's say from this moment forward, the guy who beat him, he didn't do another show. He qualified in points to get back to Olympia. Edvon doesn't do another show, goes to the Olympia. You have to give him his honest shot. If you call Edvon out in the first call out, how do you not call out that guy? That was number 4 in the world. If he brings the package for it, but it's just kind of like, wow, you know what I mean? Like I just, and rightfully so. The guy looked great.
Lights out. Yeah, he was lights out
He looked
for real.
great, man. The Brazil, they got some fucking smoke over there, bro. I'm happy that people be having visa issues getting to the U.S. because, man, if they invaded a lot of these U.S. shows, it'd be a problem. I'm just gonna say it. I ain't even, that's why I respect Mehdi Kabash so much because he went overseas and put his foot on they fucking necks and got his dubs. I respect that so much. For one, he's just an amazing person in general, one of my favorite people. But
Agreed.
yeah, man, he went and put it on the line internationally because in previous years, it's always kind of been like this unsaid thing where it's like, oh, if you want to go win a show really quick, just go overseas, and that is no longer the narrative now. The international athletes have caught up with the U.S. athletes, and in some instances, a lot of instances, surpassed. It's not that way anymore. You're not just showing up just because it's an international show and think you grabbing a dub from them.
I remember that. You're so right.
Yeah.
It was like, shit, you need a dub? Hey man, get on the plane. Go to what's the name? You good. Like, it's exciting, man. The Asians are bringing it. And I don't say that like I'm not saying that in any type of like with any like undertone. I'm just referring to it as a whole because I don't need anybody taking to try to run with it like, oh, you got something against the Asian community. No, it's kind of the Asians are bringing it. They have some of the like genetically they have just the crazy genetics of the way that they're built, man. And it's just like, yikes. Honestly, if we're being real, US athletes are actually at a disadvantage because the things that are necessary for being a professional bodybuilder, which we know what we mean by that, the way that we have to source it, it's coming from over there. These other places, they're walking into pharmacies that are on the corner and getting the top grade versions of this stuff. Like, and I'm not saying that that's the sole reason, but it damn sure plays a part.
I
mean?
I would say that, and then the way that they are systematically breaking down how to exercise and how to build up body parts very scientifically, as opposed to the gym bro style. Just go in and just pump weights, right?
Absolutely.
They're very methodic with the way that they train.
And then also some of it comes from us as Americans. We're fucking spoiled because we have everything and everything is given to us. So we have like this. They are the pride of their country. They are if this doesn't work for me, what the fuck else do I have? Like, I'm all in on this being something that works out for me. And that gives a different type of drive to a person. I know that I perform the best when my back is against the wall. When I had that bad placing in Jersey, I went radio silence. I didn't fucking talk to nobody, really. If it was not something of importance, I did not want to talk about it because I was not going to end up with egg on my face again like that. I couldn't. So it's just and then like you said, the systematic of the training, which it makes a difference when you're building a physique. It's called bodybuilding for a reason. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's bodybuilding for a reason. You're taking like a lump of clay and you're trying to carve this thing into this masterpiece. And that's just what it is, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a long tangent.
That was great.
No, that's real.
Yeah, no, that was good. I enjoyed that.
This is one of the best. This is one of the best interviews we've had, man.
Yeah. One thing I do want to touch on, once you guys get to your question, is that I really want to touch on like the after effects of competing. I want to make sure that I put that out there because I know that there are people who need to hear a lot of things that I say, not just people who compete, but the people who love the people who compete and the people who are around the people who compete.
Let it fly. Let it fly, brother.
Hold on 1 second right before you go there. Hold on real quick. Let me just go do something real quick, guys. I'll be right back. This is good.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. I ain't, I'm chilling.
We don't even know about this.
Nah.
He's surprising us. What is he doing over there?
Yeah, man. I just that's why I was really happy when you guys, for one, I was just happy just to be able to be on the channel. Like I said, much respect to everybody on here, but you know, Hearth, like I have such I just have just a lot of respect for your coverage. I always have. I've always felt that, um, like you're like the true like 60 minutes of what like covering bodybuilding is. You know what I mean? Um, just unapologetically you, not afraid to say the things that, you know, other people say, and just letting this bitch just be real. You know what I mean? And you guys aren't sitting here circle jerking each other the whole time, you know, while you doing these things, you know. So I can
Thank you,
appreciate
brother.
that.
Appreciate you.
Um,
Sorry, I had to push a
yes.
horse out the way and take a piss.
Nah, it's fine, man.
Sorry about
So
that, guys.
competing is great, and you know, and I just feel like I'm just in a position to really say this after doing 10 shows this year. And this is the reality. I've actually been in prep for probably 3 years.
Mm.
If you actually really go look at my history, um, I have not had 3 months between a show, except for maybe once in the past 3 years. So I've been in prep for a very long time. Um, very, very long time. When you're a competitor, you have to push so much to the side. And and you push these things into this box and you put a lid on it and it fills up and it fills up and it fills up. And it's like, for instance, I won Hawaii. It was great. 2-time champ. All that's awesome. Got the check, getting the accolades, the Instagram. Everybody's, oh yeah, they're cheering. But when I got back to the room and the season is over, all my issues were sitting there in the room waiting for me. And it completely took away the true enjoyment of what I accomplished, because everything that I had to push to the side was there waiting for me, because they're saying, okay, hey, well, we no longer have to take into consideration that, you know, you have another show coming up. So, hey, Ryan, you have to address these things. And sometime a lot of people, the people who love us, the ones around us, and even just some competitors who may not understand why they're going through the emotions they're going through after a show, body dysmorphia automatically sets in. The guilt of eating sets in because when your mind is so wired to being in prep, the food is good and you can't stop eating it, but then you also feel like a fucking fat, nasty fucking slob for eating the food. And then you're waking up and you're looking in the mirror and you're like, wait a minute, I'm turning from the Hulk back into this regular fucking person. When I'm walking through the gym, the compliments aren't the same anymore. It's not the bro, what the fuck, you look crazy. And this is really one of the hardest parts of bodybuilding. It's something that I'm going through myself, you know? I have I feel guilty for eating food that isn't like prep food. Like in the most worst way though. Like it extremely bothers me. Um it's such a mental mind fuck of a thing. Um being great is great, but when you've kind of, so to speak, feel like you don't have purpose anymore because I'm not 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 5 weeks out from a competition. It's just kind of like, okay, what do we do now? What do we do now? Yeah, there's reverse dieting. Yeah, we got to clean out. Yeah, there's, we got to make sure blood work, all that type of stuff is great. But we all know what happens during that process when you come off, when things start to kind of go back normal, when you don't have those things that are there to help keep the water off and keep your muscles looking hard and all those things, because as bodybuilders, we only think about it from a bodybuilding perspective. To somebody else, they might see us and say, man, you have one of the best bodies I've ever seen, even when you're in off season. But it's still hard to wire your mind to that, because do you wire yourself to start to think that way so that it breeds complacency when you are competing again because you feel like it's okay to look good by their standard?
Mm.
Or do you continue to keep the mindset of being hard on yourself because you know that it takes an extreme physique to be one of the best, and you could look your absolute fucking best and it still not be the best on that day? Because there's just somebody out there. Somebody got to be the fucking top dog, no matter what. Somebody gotta be the big swinging dick in the room, and it's just it just maybe not you that day. Some days it will, some days it won't. But I'm having a rough time though. I'm having a really hard time, and I'll admit that, because sometimes people kind of like to put things on the internet, but they'll remove the personal aspect from it.
Mm.
I'm having a really difficult time for sure.
You know what I say, bro? Like, I resonate with this quite a lot, because when I was thinking about and dreaming about turning pro, it was all I had in my mind, bro. Nothing else, like you said, nothing could distract me from that goal. Like, it was just that and the rest of the world. But it was that goal, the relentless pursuit, show after show, traveling across Europe, trying to get it done. And then when it happened, yeah, you come off the stage, you're pro, everyone cheers on for you, the social media applause, congrats, and it lasts 2 days. And
If
on
that,
day 3, you're like, if that, exactly. Then on day 3, you're like, well, shit, what now? Because that goal's gone.
yeah.
That goal's gone. Yeah, I've done it, I've achieved it, but it's gone. Like, I need
Because to
something
most
new
other
now.
because to most other people, when they see you, you're just somebody who goes to the gym.
Yeah.
They don't know nothing about fucking bodybuilding. And that even goes for some of the top guys, with the exception of like the superstars of maybe like C-Bum. I don't really think there's really anywhere that he could go that people aren't going to know that he's one of the greatest men's physique athletes to ever touch the fucking to ever touch the carpet of the stage. And like the Ronnie Colemans and of the world and stuff like that. But I could even take Brandon Hendrickson somewhere, and somebody would just be like, "Oh, what you play football?"
Mm.
Outside of our very niche community, nobody really gives a fuck that you just want to show.
Yeah.
They just don't. Oh yeah, I went to the Olympia. Oh, you went to the Olympics? They got the Olympics coming to LA in a couple years, right? Oh, that's dope, man. Hey, he went to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Come over here and meet him. It's just, people just but I'm being real though. Like, it's just like, so it's just kind of like, and then it's like, oh, so what do you eat? And then you got the uncomfortable conversations when people feel like they have to start talking about their diet just because they see you're in shape.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
working on, I'm
Yeah.
just trying to get back in shape. My knee gave out back in '96, man. I've been trying to get back into it. So, and it's just like,
Yeah.
okay.
And sometimes you actually want to blend in. Like, sometimes you don't really want to talk about it. Like, you just
Yeah.
want to enjoy. You go to an
I
event, a
just want
barbecue or
to.
something, and everyone starts talking about it as if they feel bad. Yeah.
How did you get through TSA with those? What do you mean, sir? With those guns, how did you get those through TSA?
Yeah.
I bet you didn't work out today, and it's you know what I'm saying. So, and it's cool, but it just sometimes it just be like, it's just
Yeah, it's
it
always
can be
comical.
Exhausting
it can be
sometimes.
it can be exhausting. But yeah, I'm having a tough time just because I've been in prep for so fucking long that, like, I honestly don't know what it means to be out of shape.
Do you have a fam behind the scenes and everything, like kids or anything, or
Oh yes, I am a
I
father,
don't know.
man. But no, I'm a father, but I actually don't have a lot of family. I have nobody in my family who's fitness forward. You know what I mean? And my family is this big. I have one brother, same mom, same dad. That's it. Um, yeah, like so. I don't have I don't have a community of support like behind me.
You
Is what
do
I'm
right here,
saying.
brother.
Right here all
You
day
have a
Yeah,
long.
community
no,
right
no,
Yeah,
here.
bro.
no, and I appreciate that, and that's why. But that's the caveat to it, though. It's because I don't. Sometimes I have to lean into like the social media presence to feel that support.
Mm.
But
Hmm.
what comes along with that, though, is that sometimes when you're leaning in, and then a prediction comes out or something like that, and it's not in your favor, it hurts because it's like this is my community that I'm leaning into.
Hmm.
So it's such a it's like this, man. You know, what now granted, don't get me wrong. I'm not married anymore. When I was married, she was amazing. You know, she had been a competitor. She understood what it meant to be a competitor, had my full support there. But no, and it's like it takes so much to explain to someone what it takes to do bodybuilding because people will be like, oh, well, I go to the gym too, and I don't have to do that. But there's the people who go to the gym, then there's the trainers you see online, and then there's bodybuilding. Then there's bodybuilding. That guy who you see at the gym, who's the trainer, who's in shape, that's great. But you're not pushing your body fat to sub 3, sub 2% body fat levels, and it's just different. You know what I mean? And it's no shade, again, no disrespect to anyone because I think some of those guys look sensational. I wouldn't mind walking around, getting to walk around looking like that on a daily basis. I think it's dope. But because yeah, bodybuilding looks really great on stage, but it looks really fucking freaky to just people on a, you know what I'm saying, like in a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it actually looks a little bit better once you kind of get a little bit of water back on your body a little bit. Then it looks like, yeah, but it's such an extreme level of conditioning. But but yeah, I just it's just a tough fucking road, man. And people will try to make it seem like that shit doesn't bother them and everything like that. But it's also okay to feel that way. It's okay to feel that way.
Did you know
Um,
that even Cedric, do you know Cedric McMillan? He never was happy with his physique. He never thought he looked good. Every pro show, and that guy won, Arnold's or something, just never thought he looked good. Was always insecure about how he looked. Always just like covering up all these other pros. He always thought that everyone else is better than him. Even when he was the best, he never really went into that thinking like I'm the best. Like just like you see an Ali going boom, I'm bringing it. Like no, very rare does that happen. It's crazy because the level that he was on, for him to still feel like that, it just shows that you know
yeah.
it's
But that mindset breeds winners though, because it doesn't allow for
Mhm.
complacency to set in. You don't get to drinking your own Kool-Aid, man.
mm.
You don't get to
Yeah,
drinking your own
you have to be
Kool-Aid.
obsessed.
Yeah. Is it too dark in here? Let me turn the light on.
Oh, there
Better.
you go. Better for sure. Yeah.
All
Boom.
right. Yeah, man. I want to ask you guys, new qualification system. I know you guys already touched on it, but who do you like? If you could think of one big name who you feel like isn't going to make it back, do you have anybody who you're like, somebody's in trouble?
Phil or Aleem, you guys take this one.
Alim, you go first. Let me think.
Someone who I
Could
think
use the
isn't
restroom.
going to make the
Even if you
qualification.
didn't, even if you didn't get into specifics, to say, but because I don't like to necessarily put, people on the spot or anything, but
I think, and I don't mean any, like, when you ask a question like that, obviously people are going to get bent out of shape a little bit, and that's part of the
that's why
game.
I kind of retracted a
But
little bit and just say we can keep it. We
no,
can keep
but
it like in a general
yeah,
way.
but if I would say, if let me rephrase this, if there were a top, their expectation is that it's going to be at least half of the people that were there. So you instead of having 70 athletes, there's going to be somewhere around like 30, 35 athletes that actually show up, right? So if I were to take 35 athletes and say who's not going to show up, if it's a big name, and again, I mean no shade whatsoever, but I think because of chest development, I think because of back development, great core, really solid core, great set of wheels, but that chest in the back needs to still continue to come up. If he didn't have the popularity, I think it would be Drew. And again, Drew Cullen. And I don't mean any shade whatsoever, but when I look at the complete excuse me, the complete packages, and I look at guys who are fuller in the chest, streamlined, more of a streamlined physique and everything, that just kind of resonates in the forefront of my mind in terms of athletes that we know. There are some Asian athletes that I think won't make it. I think that there are certain that were in there. I think that there are certain uh, uh, obviously American athletes. There were a couple of guys who are all natural. I don't know if they would necessarily make it at this point with the way the system is. But
Yeah.
in terms of a big name, that's probably the biggest name I can think of, that if I were to choose that like, I definitely think you're going to do it, just because of, you run the gauntlet, and you're built different to be able to continue to put your mind in the right state of being, to continue pushing forward. Even though you have the scar on your back, your core and your front is so well developed, and your posing is pristine. Like, when you come around with that arm and really squeeze down on those obliques, I mean, bro, that's how you're supposed to do that shit. Like, that's what I'm talking about. It's unfortunate you haven't had an off season to really build up the back the way you can, but your back looks still phenomenal. But I would still put you above, regardless of where he's placed in the Olympia or you or whatever. In my humble opinion, I think that you have a better flow to the physique, and I think that you would be there, in my humble opinion. And I think that there's some dark horses obviously coming for some
Yeah,
next.
for sure.
Yeah.
Can I pay homage to somebody really quick about my back? I want to say this. A big difference maker that between the show that I did in New Jersey and Hawaii is that I went to this guy here. His name is Josh, Buff Guy Massage on Instagram. I went to him every day, and he did an hour of work on my left lat every day. His touch was so nice that he was able to dig in, but still not leave any mark on my lat. And it definitely helped. It definitely helped. And because I haven't had an off season like a true one, I haven't had the opportunity to really just go in. Because one thing about it is that I can go to the gym and just train. I'm doing my research now. I need to go to someone who, kind of how you guys hinted at earlier, who knows how to systematically change the structure of a body part.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The scar's going to be there. I got to work around it. That's just the reality of it.
It could be a benefit, depending
Yeah.
on how you pose and stuff like that. People have.
Absolutely. And of course, like you guys said in the one video, you've seen Jeremy, win and win and win and win with, a similar ailment, but he's also overall just he's a really big guy too, though. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to being able to improve my overall physique and improve my midsection, even though I have a strong core, even though I'll probably work abs maybe like 2 weeks out of a prep.
Most people do.
Because I mean the diet is so tight that it produces that, but that's also a thing of, on me, double down on your strengths, triple down on your weaknesses. You know what I mean? Like, I can be better because if I'm saying, okay, I don't work abs, but I've gotten on stages where I don't have the best abs, then I could be doing something different. I need to be better.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I need to be better. I could clean up the lines in my abs a little bit more. I could make my abs deeper. I could make my abs just a little bit blockier. Of course, I don't want to take away my small waist because that helps me exponentially. I'm usually outweighed by at least on an average 25 pounds on stage by everybody else. I'm on stage. Stage day, I'm only like 172.
That's it. Wow.
What's your cap?
Yeah. My cap's only my cap's 177 because I'm short.
How tall are you?
According to them, 5'5" and a quarter. 5'5" and a quarter. I wish I was 5'6", because if I was 5'6", then my cap would jump up to like 180 something. And I could really go put some work in. Drew's a friend. I think that one thing about that I know about Drew is because he hears the chatter, I feel like it's gonna light something in him that's gonna make him bring something something great. He's already on the board with points. There are a lot of people who don't have any. I would give him my nod to say that he would be there just because I just personally believe in him. You know what I mean? And I'm not just saying, and I'm, I just think that I know what sometimes that mindset does to people. You either rise to the occasion or you kind of fall. And I feel like in my opinion, as much as it's going to be all these fireworks, there's going to be so many people who I think tuck their fucking tail and run. And I'm just being honest. I feel like there's a lot of people who are going to say, I know I don't have what it takes. I'm not going to waste the money. Of course, you have your guys who come to the shows who's just happy to be a bodybuilder, who just get on stage, and that's no shade to them, but they're okay with just being in the environment. They're there more to be a fan than they are to be a bodybuilder. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me, but it is what it is. You'll always be who you are. But I feel like a lot of people saw that and said, okay, I need to take a year to get better and then I'll come back. There's going to be some shows that are going to be absolutely crazy, but I feel like there's also still going to be shows where the list comes out and it's 13 people on the list. Every show it's not going to turn into this thing where every show has 35 competitors. It just isn't. And some shows will be that, but some shows won't. Now, granted, when we get closer to the Olympia, when the Slinky effect happens, of course, every show is like this.
Yep.
It's going to be jam-packed at the beginning. It's going to slow down in the middle, and then it's going to be jam-packed at the end. But I can't wait for the schedule to come out. Once the official schedule comes out, then we can really determine. Because once we see which weekends have multiple shows on it, where shows are placed, all that factors into the way that shows will kind of turn out. And then the Olympia's also earlier this year.
Is it really? Yeah. When's the Olympia?
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. When are they? I'm still waiting for an announcement.
I didn't realize that I had inside information with that. I'm sorry.
You're kidding.
Oh yeah,
Isn't it November or something?
The Olympia is at the end of September this year. It's not.
End of September.
Wow.
Damn.
That changes a lot.
It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah.
The Olympia is earlier this year. I'll say this. I know for a fact that at least a week, but I think it's 2 weeks earlier, if I'm not mistaken, which it's getting back to where it used to be. Because remember, Olympia wasn't in October before. It was, I'm almost positive it was in September because it was still pool season. It was still pool season in Las Vegas. And it's going to be at the New Orleans Hotel. It's not at Resorts World anymore. The Orleans Hotel.
Here I knew they were changing venues, but okay, so in Orleans now.
Yeah, it's going back to the Orleans.
Yeah.
Remember, in the beginning, it used to be there. It used to be there a long time ago. Which Yeah, so yeah. Oh, boom! I'm gonna drop some information
There
for
you
y'all. There you
go.
go. For
Exclusive
anybody
news.
else.
Blowing our
No,
minds, bro.
Drop the
but
bomb. I love it.
but it's gonna be great for patrons though, and it's gonna be great for patrons because the Orleans is off the strip, which accessibility vastly improves. Because this is the thing about Vegas. Vegas doesn't stop moving because of the Olympia. It is our Super Bowl, but in Vegas, it is a drop in the bucket compared to everything else that's going on. You'll have a million people in Vegas who don't even know that there's a bodybuilding competition going on. You know what I mean? So it's great for that. Um, it definitely will improve. It should improve on the pricing that they're charging for things. It should. Let me say should. I hope that it does because the Orleans definitely isn't costing the same thing as Resorts World.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, it makes it for where everything kind of might be up under the same roof as far as convention and finals, like different venues, but don't quote me on that aspect of it specifically. But um, it would be good though because it'll be better for the athletes in preparation. And even though the Orleans people are going to be like, oh, this is a dated hotel, it's this, it's that, it's whatever, it's still overall going to be the better. Even just the cost of things in a hotel. You're at Resorts World, you drink a water in your room, it's $22. If you're at the Orleans, you can drink a water in your room, it's probably going to cost you $6. The food at the food at the venue, way cheaper. Like it is a money saver for everyone involved. But yes, the Olympia is not going to be the same weekend this year. It is going to be earlier. So that means that the chance to qualifying period ends sooner.
Shorter.
Florida.
Big.
There you go. Well, there you go.
And
Inside
that's
information, boys.
it's a fact because the Samson Ace of Stage is going to be the week after the Olympia this year. Samson
Because
Samson's a really, really, really
it
good
was a
friend.
week before.
It was a week before
Right, yeah.
this year. So yeah, it's gonna be earlier. That's why you're welcome to you guys. So now you know.
Boys, now we know we got to book those flights and accommodation.
Not necessarily you, but just other competitors. So they know that hey, then it trimmed a little bit of fat off of the season.
Yeah. There you go.
But I like it though, because it also opens up to give a longer qualifying period for the next year because of the new system. I feel like it plays just a really good part because you got to think about those shows that happen the week right before Olympia, the week right after Olympia. So now that one show that happens, I think like in Brazil or something like that, like a week before the Olympia as well, that now becomes a show that gives you qualifying points for next year. Well,
Straight
it doesn't.
after. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't regardless because it's a week before the Olympia, but just the Olympia is done. You know what I mean? It's not like, for a guy who is in the Olympia, you don't have to, if you were trying to grab points for that, you don't have to do that and then try to get on a plane, get all the way to the States. You know what I mean? You can kind of go do the Olympia and then go back home and win shows. It's just like, I think it's great. I think it's great. What do you guys feel like the magic number is going to end up being with points? Like if you could have you guys ever thought about that? Like what is the lowest amount of points you think that someone could have and still make top 25? Because I feel like a lot of things are going to cancel out each other. There are people on the list right now who have 10 wins or who have 20 something points. Most likely some of those guys are going to win another competition. So they're going to come off of the point standing board. Do you feel, what do you feel like is going to be the sweet spot as far as points to make top 25 when it's all said and done?
You want to take that, Phil?
30 plus?
Are we saying the lowest? Or are we saying
Yes.
the first on top?
More so, no, not on top, because if you're on top, if you're number one, I mean, it doesn't matter. We're saying like that last 10 spots out of the top 25.
I'm gonna. I don't know. I'm gonna bet you've got to have at least 30 to 40 minimum. I'm gonna say
No.
You don't
No.
For the very bottom?
Oh, for the
No,
very bottom.
for the very
Very bottom,
bottom.
Phil. Very
The
bottom.
last
I would
10.
say 20.
I thought the
I
same
would say
thing.
Maybe
20,
20 odd.
20 to 25.
Yeah, 20 to
No.
25.
And you'll
Wow.
be pushing it.
That's a
You'll be
lot.
pushing it.
You
You'll be
reckon?
pushing it.
No, I don't think so because of the vast difference between first and second place of the points you gain at shows. You win 10 for winning.
It's
You
one.
only win 4 points for second place. So for a person to surmount somebody who won one show, they would have to, let's say they would have to have 3 second places to jump that, or 2 second places in a third place. So I think that's why I'm feeling like there are people who are going to be able to win. In my opinion, there are still going to be instances where somebody can win one show and still make it to the Olympia.
What's the who's got the lowest points at the moment? Do you know how?
I think it's 4, right?
I just made a post. I'll tell you exactly what it is because I just put it on my page. Let's see. So right now the lowest amount of points is 4.
It's 4. Okay.
Yeah, 4.
So right now the top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then it kind of gets the top 10 right now is 27 points. Emil Walker has 27 points. He could literally not do anything else and he's going to go to the Olympia. So also one of my favorite people too. Fucking amazing person. I love Emil.
Emil is great.
He's got a couple of shows.
Did you see our show?
I just saw you guys. I just saw you guys just had him on, man. He's awesome. Ed Bond has 24. Jason Wynn has 17. Alexander Rogers has 15. Ben Quill has 14. Dilson Espandola has 13. Hao Dang has 11. Polimizo, I don't know how to say that shit. That he has 11. Paul Gustave has 11. Really great guy too. Great physique. Asai Kasek has 10.
Oh, he's the Indonesian guy, Indonesian king.
Naveed Ali has 10. I have 10. Mauro Fiallo has 9.
Yeah.
This is like the top 15, I think, or top 13. Diogo has 8. Well, Basa has 8.
Yeah.
And Victor Ramirez has 8. But when you're looking at this, though, out of the people I named, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of us have 1 win. So some of these people are going to come off of this point standing board
quick.
Because once you grab another one, you're in. But even with this though, you see how it kind of falls into like a very slim margin. Then it goes from after 10 points, you go 8, 8, 7, 7, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4.
Big gap.
So that's why I say arguably, I feel like when the dust settles, those last 7 people are going to be people who have 10 points. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Whether it's from a win straight up or it's just from grind. Somebody having, because this is the thing about it. If somebody had 30 to 40 points, they would have won 2 shows. It's not even.
That wouldn't be on the list.
It wouldn't even be. You would have to come second place 10 times to have 40 points.
So are you calling it 15, Ryan? Are you saying 15 is your magic number for lowest to get in?
I wouldn't say lowest. I say like 15 is a sweet spot to feel safe, in my opinion. I feel like if you got 15 more points, I feel like you're safe. In my opinion.
Yeah. We still have a lot of shows to go before the O, but
still so many shows, but you have so many athletes. You have people who are going to crawl from under a rock.
Little bit long,
Prime example, somebody like Francisco Martinez.
I was about to ask you about that guy.
Somebody like him who nobody sees coming. Nobody's radar. The list drops. Nobody mentions the name. He goes to New Jersey, wins. Goes to Atlantic Coast in a show that was so stacked, you were pretty much like,
Facts.
And he doesn't, and it's not like he was just given anything. He went there and definitively won, for sure.
Yep.
Granted, so it's like you have instances like that will happen.
Well, same thing happened in Brazil with Edvan. Dilson's only been a pro for 4 months, and he's knocked out Edvan. So
that's what I'm saying. And it's just kind of like to all of us when you see the list, it's kind of like, oh, okay, Edvan got his his qualification. If you saw it, if just, and that's nothing wrong with that. That's just us putting the consistency that he has showed warranted the prediction of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just feel like this season coming up, it's going to be there's going to be people that people don't think are going to make it that are, and there are going to be a lot of people who people feel like are automatic who will be sitting on the couch going fishing.
It's going to make it interesting. That's for sure. It's going to make one heck of a season.
All right, yeah. Mateus, you guys have any other questions?
No, we're good,
this
bro.
Was so informational and entertaining. This is gonna be great. I can't wait to get this out to the community. Honestly, this was
wealth money and
your
gems.
Insight. Your just the mental health insight, Ryan. What you're talking about, what you're going through, that does not get talked about typically when we interview people. So I really appreciate you being just vulnerable and telling us about that, man. Because I know that's gonna stick not only with the pros, but I'm sure a lot of amateurs that are going through it as well. So big thanks for that, bro.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. When I tell you, I appreciate y'all having me on so much. Again, I think highly of everybody on this channel. I appreciate you guys' professionalism and the journalism that you're doing. I feel that you guys have just a rock star of a combination here with the four of you. You know what I mean? Everybody just kind of just the way that everybody kind of delivers their own insight, but it's also very accurate and factual. And that's what I can appreciate about it, with just put your own personal touch on it, which, your personality. And that's what makes this so great. It does. It makes it phenomenal. And the fact that everybody on here has put it in the middle at some point in time when it comes to the stage. So it's also nobody's on here speaking from things they haven't experienced. And that means a lot because it just gives true validity to when you're saying, I know what you're going through because I've actually fucking experienced it. I tell people all the time, you'll never know what it is to be a bodybuilder. I could give you a 24-hour long dissertation PowerPoint presentation in every single aspect until you've actually had to fucking diet and do what we do. You'll never truly fully understand it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You have some people who are just you have some people who are just such librarians and just so critical of the sport that they do have just a wealth of knowledge. Don't get me wrong. But everybody knows what it feels like. You know what I mean? And that, you guys are just awesome. I really loved it. When I saw the episode, I was happy. I sent it to everybody who I knew. I loved it. I love you guys' coverage. So, and even just the coverage on other people, not just me. I love the way you guys cover other people. And this is dope what you guys are doing, for sure.
Appreciate it, man.
Very much, man. I really appreciate that.
That hits. Right. That hits.
For sure, man. Right. Well, I look forward to seeing after you guys chop this up and put it out, man. Let's do it.
Well, it's going to be fire. Make sure you post.
We need you back in the future, mate.
Yes, bro.
Collab with me, do everything like that or whatever. I definitely, when the list comes out, I'll make sure that you guys are the first to know where I'm showing up at. I got you. I'll give that to you.
Let's go.
Yes, let's go. That's awesome.
Hell yeah. Rooting for you, brother. We're all rooting for you.
That's right.
No, thank you.
Well, Ryan, thank you so much, mate.
All right,
brother. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Talk soon, brother.
See you, mate.